This talk is designed to assist students with preparation specific to research papers or dissertations that present arguments. The primary focus is aimed at Uganda Christian University students enrolled in the Bachelor of Laws program. My discussion will complement the guidance to UCU undergraduates by the dissertation guidelines published by the UCU Faculty of Law and the UCU School of Research and Postgraduate Studies Research Manual that is available to undergraduate and postgraduate students in all areas of study. It is not intended as a substitute for these documents, which should remain the principal authoritative sources for students preparing research papers or dissertations for their courses at UCU. The university's guidelines documents provide valuable counsel not just to students, but to those individuals after graduation as they begin their own careers. I would like to offer some reflections about the content of the guidelines from the perspective of someone educated in law in the United States. Despite that education, I chose not to practice law. Instead, I used my legal education and its many lessons as a career professional in the United States oil and natural gas industry in an array of responsibilities. These included advising management of regulatory compliance obligations, providing testimony and writing letters to provide formal comment to agencies of government in accordance with the U.S. Administrative Procedures Act, and other documents of virtually every kind. I can honestly say that the best of my written work throughout my career has been consistent with the principles of UCU's research guidelines. Let's begin by looking at the key elements of a successful research paper or dissertation that other lecturers in this seminar may be mentioning as well, but not specific to law. First, a clearly stated and focused research question. Identification of relevant legal principles and their applicability to the research question at hand. A summary of the argument that the paper will make. A description of the contribution to scholarship that the paper will make. And a tailoring of the information you present in both content and style to your audience. It sounds obvious, but to achieve success with a research paper or with any other important written work product, the writer needs to be clear on what he or she intends to say. This is especially true for a document written to support an argument, which is an address or composition intended to convince or to persuade. Don't be surprised or frustrated if it takes a bit of effort to arrive at an effective summary of your argument. Effort at the onset will be rewarded later. In general, be prepared to edit, and edit again. Regardless of your field of study, editing is critical to quality. Scrutinize your writing as you go to look for and to remedy these common errors from many that can often occur in documents prepared in a legal context. First, there is no true research question, or the research question is too broad. The writer presents unsupported conclusions or includes personal opinions and views throughout the paper. Poor presentation, for example, many grammatical and spelling errors. Poor citation and referencing, which are critical to guide readers to the information being relied upon, to avoid plagiarism, and to assist others in research. Please note that citation and plagiarism are also addressed in another lecture in this series. For law students, approach the analysis in your document in clear and straightforward ways by breaking down the legal issues that relate to your research question into component parts and examining them in detail. Your analysis should address and answer the following questions. What are the objectives of the statutes and/or relevant cases in your study? Do the statutes or cases achieve those objectives? What are the failures or successes of the law and jurisprudence as concerns the problem described in your study? If your paper is a comparative analysis of cases or statutes, then discuss how the cases or statutes are different or similar, or what changes should be made based on an analysis of the facts related to the cases and the statutes. The UCU Law Dissertation Guidelines offer helpful advice for you to consider on selecting and then refining your research topic. It should be current, worthy of yours and the reader's time, and focused enough to be manageable so that your paper can provide a remedy possible of implementation. Some questions that may help you frame your research topic include: What is the most glaring problem facing my community or a group of people or society? What legal cases have been in the news, have been discussed in class, undertaken by various legal advocacy groups, etc.? What issues am I passionate about? Are there legal issues and problems that might relate to these issues? The problem must be current. That is, there must be evidence that the problem currently exists. It cannot be something that happened several years ago or that could happen years from now. The problem must be manageable in scope. The problem you plan to research cannot be too large to handle. So having settled on a topic, the success or persuasiveness of your paper will depend upon formulation of an effective topic statement. Again, another lecture in this series addresses topic statements in more detail. For now, from a legal perspective, a topic statement is usually a single sentence somewhere in your first paragraph that tells your reader what the paper is going to address. The rest of the paper, the body of the essay, gathers and organizes information that will persuade the reader of the logic of your interpretation, your analysis, and your conclusion about the problem and possible solutions. A topic statement is a roadmap for your document. In other words, it tells the reader what to expect from the rest of your research paper. A topic statement formulates a claim or hypothesis statement, not merely a statement of fact. It takes a stand and sets forth your presentation clearly and locates it prominently. In addition, it is important to satisfy your audience's need for unity and coherence by building paragraphs that support topic sentences with details, using examples and references to sources as evidence to illustrate your points. Looking beyond the dissertation guidelines to additional qualities of good and effective written advocacy that I've come to recognize and to honor over my career, these are some additional recommendations to follow. Again, tailor what you write to your audience and the context. This may seem less important to you as a student when your written projects are assigned, but it will become increasingly important when you enter practice. Documents that embody the same research and message may vary greatly in content and tone based on the document's intended audience. For example, a brief submitted to the court must advocate and persuade. A memorandum to a client must analyze the issues, describe the state of the law, and recommend an appropriate course of action. Always keep your audience in mind when crafting any piece of writing. Organize your writing. Create a roadmap for your writing by using visual clues to guide the reader through your text and to promote readability. Introduce your subject in an introductory paragraph. Introduce each paragraph with a topic sentence, and use headings and subheadings to break up blocks of text. Limit each paragraph to one topic, relying on shorter paragraphs wherever possible, and sum up your message with a concluding sentence or paragraph. Be purposeful with your language, and avoid the use of legal jargon, which can make your writing abstract, stilted, and archaic. It does not make you sound like a lawyer. In fact, the opposite is almost always true. Ditch unnecessary legalese and other jargon in favor of the clear and simple. Be concise. Every word you write should contribute to your message. Omit extraneous words, shorten complex sentences, eliminate redundancies, and keep it simple. The two guideline documents I've referenced can be found elsewhere in the seminar materials. Think of UCU's research guidelines as a shop manual for successful written advocacy. It is often hard work, but your disciplined efforts now as a student will help make you an effective and persuasive advocate in the career you are pursuing. Godspeed.